Hello. Welcome, everyone, to episode 9 of the Avatar Sunday streams. I hope you're all doing well. This episode, first of all, I just want to say Twitch, for some reason, is absolutely not working. Twitter works, YouTube works, but Twitch is not. It did the same last week. I've got no clue why. So if you're on Twitch, I'd recommend go to YouTube or Twitter, because yeah, I have no clue. But anyway, for people that are here, welcome. Welcome to this stream. And in today's episode, we're gonna work on the Unity aspect of things. So I'm just prepping stuff at the moment. Because I woke up a little later tonight. It's tonight. Today. I'm not used to waking up on during the days. So I'm just preparing some more stuff here. So I can have my messages on the side. In the little corner. There we go. Okay. There you go. And now I just want the here. Just in case. Alright. Perfect. Alright, so we can start off, I guess. I'll first open up my plastic kind of SD. Here, there we go. Kind of SD. And let's jump straight into it. So, Unity, my best friend. How does one use it? So last week we went a bit quick on the Unity aspect because I really wanted to try out the avatar in game, and it's probably not going to be different for at least trying the avatar today. But I went a bit on the controls on how to control Unity. We also imported a model, created the photo structure under model and one named after our avatar, right there. And yeah, we're gonna go straight from that because we also did materials too, very quick. And actually, before doing anything else, just shout out to Somnium for learning me a new trick that I didn't know. And we've learned about holding right click and then using WASD, Q and E to move. We knew about Alt and then left click, right click, and middle click. And we also learned about the F button to focus. But I didn't know that you could point somewhere, I can put on this trash can and press middle click, and it would focus on the trash can. When you press the middle click, it focuses on whatever you middle clicked on. So for example, trash can, beep, and I can zoom in, and there you go, I'm on the trash can. The avatar over there, boop, and there you go, I'm focused on the avatar. Very useful indeed. I'm probably gonna use this quite a lot now that I do about it, and that's super fun. But yeah, so what could I do now? First, I kind of want to do the effect on the visor. I want to do some special effects. I think what we'll do is we'll set up the visor animation and some of the knobs in the back as well. And we're gonna create the animations afterwards with the gestures and everything. I'm still thinking about the gestures, how to do them for this avatar, but I know I want one to remove the visor. So what I'll do is that I'll install a plugin called Amplify Shader Editor. I already own it, but I do have an update to do for it, so I'll update it. But what it is that it's a visual shader editor, which is node based, kind of like how we did in Blender. So you remember me, like in a couple of episodes ago, we played with these nodes here, or you can just plug stuff in. Well, Amplify does the exact same thing. If that's a space bird, it's a human-shaped head disguise. Yes, it is. Yes, indeed it is. Shaped in disguise, just inside poop. Hello, there's a bird. And we also need to animate the bird too. But yeah, let's install Amplify. So what you want to do is go to Window and then Asset Store. Depending on your Unity version, which in this case is fixed, you have to use 2018.2.4. Do you have? No, okay, you have to use the Asset Store with this Unity version. Hey, did you know? Like, if you haven't seen it in game, I tested it last week, and I'm gonna quickly hide the visor. That's actually quite a cool detail I've added. H to hide, by the way. You notice I do have lip sync on this avatar, so if I move it, you can see the bars in front move. But if I use the same blend shape, you'd also notice that the beak opens. That's an epic detail added right there. Mind blown even more. But yeah, let's go install the Amplify show. I'll go to Window Asset Store, which is gonna open this window. For then you can go to Search Assets, and then search up Amplify, and it should be literally, because it's such a popular plugin, the first one to pop. Amplify Shader Editor, right there. Amplify bundle. Ooh, I'm interested. A bundle, like, go back. Hold up a sec. Bundle. Amplify bundle. Shader, imposter. Ooh. And not back. How to press? That's interesting. Anyway, Amplify. So this plugin. You'll have a purchase button for what you can then, of course, purchase it. Me, I've got the update button because I own it already. It's not cheap. It's 80 bucks. It was 60 at the time, but now it's 80. But I did manage to get it on sale. Usually on Black Friday or no, like a special holiday, it will be on sale. For I think it's gonna be 40 bucks this time because it's usually half the price. But yeah, if you use Unity a lot and Unity is like your game dev environment, then it is 100% worth it. In terms of like shader optimization in the back, it's not as optimized as writing your own shader from the ground up, written line by line, but it is extremely useful for just non-coders in general, especially non-shader coders. Which I guess I am. I write C# scripts, but I don't write shader scripts. There you go. So now we've got Amplify installed. If you just purchased it and you want to install it like in a different way, you can go to the page here and import, or you can click the My Assets button at the top right of the Asset Store window. And then you can look up Amplify here, and it should be there, and you can just press import. So now we've got Amplify installed. So what I'll do is go to my avatar folder and go to the shaders folder we created last episode. And I'm going to create the Visor folder. So I'll create, And you don't go to shader. This is for a regular shader. You have to go to Amplify shader. In my case, I want to use a surface shader, for which I'm gonna call Astronaut Visor. This window is gonna pop up next, which is your shader graph. If you worked with render pipelines, Unity render pipelines like URP or HDRP, this is similar to shader graphs, but this is Amplify, and Amplify can be used with the standard render pipeline, which what Somnium uses, and can be used with the other render pipelines too. And if you know how to shader code, you can also write your own custom nodes. So I'll focus on how to use Amplify now, I guess. So when you create a surface Amplify shader, you'll end up with this main node here, which is your output node. And this is what the shader will display at the end. And you've got several connections. So you've got the albedo here, which is your main color. You've got normal, which is your normal map. Emission, which is of course the emissive, just like above the head here. Then you got metallic, which is metallic. Then you got smoothness, which of course is just smoothness. Ambient occlusion, same thing, it's just ambient occlusion. Transmission, I never really used it. Neither translucency. The four next ones for refraction, opacity, opacity mask, and custom lighting, you need to enable some specific things in the settings. If you press the plus button, if this is not open, press the square at the top left. But for opacity and opacity mask, you have to go to the blend mode section and change it to either masked or transparent. And this will be your alpha, your transparency. Then you got refraction. This is useful if you want to do some kind of glass shader. One is no refraction, and then the lower the value, the more refraction there is, and same with above. It's like your index of refraction. Then you got custom lighting. This is a bit more advanced, where you can take a node, like a lighting node, and output what the shader should display as a color. And that color, you can then do modifications to it. So for example, you could invert the lighting, or you could make a gradient depending on the light on the thing. And then plug that into custom lighting, and it's gonna be looking quite good. And then local vertex offset and local vertex normal, those are used for effects where the polygons go off. So like with my holographic avatar I had in the past, for a week, you could see the vertices, the polygons move. That's how I did them with local vertex offset. Tessellation, I have not really played with that, because for me it's a bit more advanced, and usually you don't really want to use tessellation on avatars because this is extremely resource intensive. Same with refraction. But if you want to learn more about tessellation, I'd recommend talking with Denero, which played a lot with that feature. And then debug is just a plug that you use if you want to debug a specific color. So for example, if I had a color node and I wanted to debug that color, I could plug it into the debug and would see it getting changed. So for the visor, we're gonna create some nodes, of course, just some basic nodes just to test. And we'll also copy the color. So the color is here. I'm copying the hex code. And I will create a color node. There's no textures on it, so we don't need to put a texture. We'll just put a color. And we'll set the color to full alpha, and there you go. Set the hexadecimal. And now you have some properties here. I mean, I guess I can put the thing here. Just so we can see the avatar next here and then the node there. So I will plug this into the albedo. And I'll also set the type in the settings, if you click the square here, to property. You've got different types. Different properties you can set. So the type you can set to constant, which is a constant on the shader you can modify. Property, for which you can go in the shader and modify it yourself from the inspector and have different values depending on which material it is assigned on. You can set to instance property, which I don't know what's the difference really, but I know there's a difference. And then global, that is a bit special because this allows for if you had multiple of the same avatar. For example, I could set it to global, and instead I need to like global color. And that in fact, this would be the exact same pretty much everywhere. Like if you had the same avatar or the same object with different materials, this global color will be the same for every one of them. And this allows for super cool effects, like I went to that con and they had a shader with that synced with music and synced with everyone else. Well, that's because they used a global texture that was used on every single avatar, and that global parameter was modified inside the shader from the scripts. And that way, you could sync everyone to the same shader, to the same like value of a certain parameter, which is super cool. But you gotta be careful because you can pretty much, if you have multiple like values with the global, like if someone scripts something with bolt using this variable and someone else does it in the same instance, for example, it's not gonna end up well. So you just have to be careful with the scripting aspect. But it could be used a lot if it is supported. But for now, let's just keep it simple and keep it to property. Then the name, this is obviously the name of your variable. I'd recommend like camel case. So every single word has the first letter capitalized. Property name, this is used by scripts. So because yeah, this is also useful for like Somnium world and stuff. Property name, this is what the scripts will use to go modify that property. So if you want to modify a material from script, that's the name you're gonna use. And usually they always start with underscore. And by default, it's gonna be locked to the name you write in at first, but you can also unlock and type any other name you want, which is very useful. Variable mode, you can create or fetch. I've never really played with that, so keep it to create. Auto register, I think that's for when the variable is not plugged into anything. If you press auto register, then it's gonna like stay, even though it's not plugged into anything or doing anything. Then precision, usually I keep it to inherit, but you can put it to float, which is the highest, and half, which is the lowest precision. This is for like decimal values. Then you got material and default, which is just a way to set the current materials, which is selected, value, and a default value for when you create a new material with that shader. And then in attributes, you've got different attributes you can assign to the color variable here, color node. You can hide an inspector, so that way it will be invisible. HDR, which is useful for when you do emission. Gamma, usually keep it unchecked because now mostly games are linear depending on the platform, so just keep it unchecked. Parameter data, I don't know what that does. Header, this will, for example, here you've got main maps here. If this is a header, and you can check header, and then go to headers, click the plus, and then add the name of the header, which is going to create the same thing as here. And custom, which custom attributes. Never really use them because I'm not actually a coder, but it can be useful depending on the situation. So that is for the color node. And we'll plug this one into albedo, and I'll call it color, I guess. And also, to respect like Unity naming inside the shader, this is equivalent to like the RGB value here, for which I'm gonna name underscore tint. And then I will create a float value. I right click to open that menu, and I create a float, which I'll set to property, a name, and not property, yeah, property, and name smoothness. Boop, like this. And the default value is gonna be 0.969. So, boop. Boop, alright. So float, you got the exact same properties, but obviously it's a float value instead. And attributes, you've got new ones too. Like you've got toggle. I guess I can, first off, I'll finish up like just putting this together. There's no normal, there's no emission. Actually, there's gonna be emission later for like the effect. Then there's metallic, we don't have metallic, we don't have that, we don't have that, we don't have any either. Okay, what shader did I use? What pass? I'll touch on the pass later. I guess I can just refer the shader. And now I'll just go select the shader here, so the Astronaut Visor. So I'll go to my Astronaut Visor material, open up the drop down, and it should be somewhere here. Astronaut Visor. Bang. And nothing changed. Like literally, it looks the exact same because it's the exact same values. But yeah, you'll notice if I go and check toggle, you'll see that, well, it's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. Refresh. Where is it? Smoothness, what are you doing? Smoothness. File register in because it per render data is checked. There you go. So if I check toggle, you see it's a toggle. So that means it's gonna be 1 or 0. As you can see, so if it's checked, it's 1 smoothness, and unchecked is 0 smoothness. So it just creates a 1 or 0. I uncheck that and keep my 0.969 like this. This is a header. No keyword toggle. I guess that's something to play with keywords, which I don't think we're gonna touch really. Then int range. I think that's mostly gonna be like for int values and stuff. And you have, what's range? Yeah, that's okay. So I'll just keep it unchecked, and then enums, which this is also useful. Enums lets you create drop downs, and depending on the item you select, it's gonna output a certain value. So for example, I could go to enums, create enums plus, and then add values. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Option 1 outputs 0, option 2 outputs 1, and option 3 outputs 2. And of course, you can put any names in there. And I'm going to refresh just to show you by checking Enums. And you'll see that smoothness has nothing selected. But I can open it and select option 1, option 2, or option 3. And of course, you got a custom ones. But I will keep it like this for now. So yeah, flow values can be extremely useful. Depending on the situation. But in our case, this smoothness is going to stay the same pretty much the whole way. So yeah. So now let's create the effect. The disappearing effect. So I will go to emission, and this is where I'm going to plug in the emission thing. And we're also going to play with alpha, but not just yet, because I don't remember which one I gotta use for the alpha mode, but we'll see. I think it was not mask, it was translucent, if I remember correctly. Does it really matter though? It might matter, yeah, because yeah, the helmet can be, the visor can be viewed outside the helmet, so I guess one sheet I'll see what I do, but for now I'll keep it to transparent. And yeah, it does play some stuff. Yeah, now the visor is just gone. I might just use transparent cutout in the meantime. So masked. There you go. So let's do the effect. So I'll create another flow value called as a property visor disappear. Like this. And this is going to go from minimum to maximum 1, because you can also set minimum and maximum with floats. And now it's just going to be a slider, and you cannot go above unless you use an animation. I've got something in my eye that's not good. I got something in my eye all of a sudden, guys. Yeah, yeah, hold up a sec. Sorry. Hold up a minute, I'm trying to bring my mod here. There you go. Where was I? Yes, so taking the eye, and then I will go to I'm gonna create a color which is going to be the emission. and for which I'm going to check the HDR toggle, which will allow the avatar and the visor to emit more light and have a glow in game. And I did notice too that the glow on the electricity is a bit too high in game, so I'll say to like 1.8 instead. There you go. Then what we can do, I'll create a lerp node, which is gonna lerp between two values. Using some variable. So just as an example, I can do this and plug in the emission. Boom. Then if I refresh, nothing seems to have changed, but in fact, if I go to the shader here, you can see visor disappear, and if I slide the value up, the emission is gonna enable. Yeah, welcome blackout. Yeah, sorry it doesn't work on Twitch. I have absolutely no clue. Something's going on with either restream or I don't know. So now we have this, and yeah, now we're gonna affect using the UV maps we've done not last episode, last episode, a couple episodes ago at least. So I'm going to create a texture coordinate node, for which you can set tiling offset, and also the texture here. But also you can set the UV set. I'm gonna go check in the other project which UV set it uses. So I'm gonna go to the visor, and there's only one UV set. Okay. So this is the UV set I'm gonna use. UV set 1. In the case of the lightning, when we're gonna do the lightning in the back of the backpack, we're gonna set it to 2, because if you notice, first off, I want to close something I just noticed. There we go. You will notice, yeah, right, it's not the C controls. That if I say this, you notice that this one UV map too. What? Why is it just one UV map? Okay. UV. Right, because it's not the same material. Okay, never mind. We don't need this, but for some other things, it can be useful to have multiple UV maps, depending on how you want to work with the shader. So I'll just take this, and yeah, we'll create as well a time node, which is gonna animate our thing. And what I want to do is maybe remap this whole thing take the emission here, just place it there. So min 0, 1, perfect. And I'm gonna change the min new and max new. Because right now, if I do this, it just goes from 0 to 1, of course. So what I'll do is a quick yeah, we'll create a noise texture. Noise generator. And just to see how it looks, I'm gonna plug it into the debug node. And if I refresh, you'll see that only this is displayed. I'll set it to 3D and create a pen node, which is going to create a vector for us with 3 separate values. I'm going to set it to vector 3 because it's 3D. Then plug the out of this into the Z. Because we are working on a 2D texture and we don't want to just scroll the texture. The Z value, since it's unused, is going to look like it's just waving instead. Then I guess I can refresh and you'll see that it's animated now. But you see that, yeah, it's just flat. Because those are not the correct UVs. So what we want to do is take the texture coordinate and plug the U in the X because U is equal to the X axis and the V is the vertical one. And there you go. Now this is animated. Which is good. Now, what we want to do is I'll plug this into a subtract. Because right now this is a range from 0 to 1. But what I want is a range from -1 to 1. So I guess I can, first off, multiply this by 2, so it's 0 to 2. Then plug it into the subtract, which I'm going to subtract 1, which is going to, in fact, put it at that -1 to 1 range. And if I refresh, you'll see, of course, we cannot go darker than black and whiter than white, but this is a range from -1 to 1. And now what I want to do is place another multiply after it, which I'm going to multiply by 1. And for which I'm going to place also another float, which is going to be noise difference. And I'm not going to set any min or max. I mean, I guess I can set the max to like 10, so at least it's from 0 to 10. And the slider appears. So if I multiply this and go to debug, it's going to display black until I multiply this. So now, I'm going to keep it at 1 for now. So Visor disappear. I guess I can keep the max at that. Okay, yeah, this is a math problem. I don't know, in fact it's gonna work, so I'm gonna do this, and then a multiply here, and I'm gonna multiply by -1, and plug this in there. And plug in add node and do this. Boop. And hopefully that works. I'll plug into the debug. It's probably gonna be, oh nope, I did not want to press play. Okay, so it does work, but not fully. I guess I can add this and plug in like a 1, 2 or something. Yeah, that works. Okay, no, it doesn't. It doesn't really work. If I do this. There. And a time scale that node I'm gonna reduce like 0.2. Because I'm using the time to actually just make it more varied, because the animation is gonna be like this. So that way the polygons are gonna be a little different every time. I guess I can plug the loop there just to demonstrate and plug this. I can also clamp it. Like this. That way the value is not gonna go above 1. And I guess unplug this. And you'll see we got a visor, and then actually I can do ×3 because towards the end of the visor disappear, we're gonna also disappear the whole visor. So I guess for now we can plug in inside. Or is it blend mode? I'm used transparent for now. And then remap. Opacity. Lamp. I think I have to invert this pretty much. Yeah, I want to invert it like that. That'd be cool. That works. Well, that works. That works. But now you see the problem with that is that, for example, this plant, you can see through the visor. Like, that's something that the game has trouble with. It's the render queue. So what I want to try and use instead is the what is it? Just gonna upload everything just to find myself better. Blend mode. Translucent. And now this is fixed, but now it is not transparent. So I have to plug into translucency. And I don't think that's gonna work. Well, I can try too. And that's like a little trick that I use sometimes, is to use a grab screen color and just to see how it looks. Yeah, in this case it doesn't really work well. In this case it doesn't work. I can have to go in alpha test. And now the plants disappear when I do that. Yeah, I hate the render queue. Transparent. I think that's gonna be good. Yeah, that works. Here's into emission. How? Where did I plug? Ah, because of normal, so plugged in. There you go. Hey, okay, I think that works. Why does it seem always there? You check. Yeah, it was. I think now we got a visor. Just meow. Yee. And now, just to test, I'm gonna take my just carry it home and just predict it. That seems to work. Yep, I think that works. So we got a visor. Let's go. And as you can see, depending on like the time you do the gesture, it's gonna have a different time value, which by definition is gonna change the look, how it actually. I do like the effect of having some kind of visor like that. It's a cool effect. I'll keep it like that. And that seems to work. Yeah, with that, I think in terms of like the gesture, shader, that should work. I don't think there's any special shader I want to put on there, but from that, but yeah. I'm gonna save quick. Okay, so next up, we could do some animations, but I guess what I can do is also add a tiny bit of dynamic bones on the hair of this avatar. I'm talking about, of course, the bird inside the helmet. So for that, just like Amplify, you can look up dynamic bones on the asset store, and you can buy it. It's like 20 bucks, a bit more affordable. I do own it myself, so I'll just you can just import it, and yeah, I'll already have it in the product because of the previous seasons. But yeah, so I'll go to the root of the astronaut. It's better to do the dynamic bones on the root. That way it's easier to find. And I'll quickly add component. Dynamic bone. And I will add, if I go to the Animator inside, find pilot, dynamic bone, tail. And pilot diagonal here. Now, if I slightly move the head, it doesn't work. Why? Why did it not work? Why do you want root right over here? They're waiting. Man, that's curious. If I put everything, like sniffs everything to 0. Huh. Now that is very curious. I never said I was gonna animate the visor lifting up. I said I was gonna animate it disappearing. Listen to the streams, Blackout! That is very curious, though. Ah. Oh, you know what? Is it the animator, maybe? That's animating with the, No. Eh. Eh. So hopefully you don't hear my parents speaking in the back. Hmm. You know it's bad when I even I on that problem. That is definitely curious. If I take this bone, yeah, it is weighted and everything. Uh-huh. Any other day won't work. Does any other day won't work actually? Let me bring last season's avatar. I still own it. Yeah, they do work. Yeah. Why is it not working on this? Did I perhaps miss a setting or what? Yeah. Do they work on other parts of the body? Yes, they do. If you do this, now that works. It's obviously not what I really want. Is it because there's no end bone? Oh, that could be it. Yeah, that's it, because there's no end bone. Oh, right. Found the issue. Found the problem. Because there's no end bone. And physical value. Go. So that's gonna be for the tail. Nope. Tail and hair. Okay. There you go. So now this should work. Yeah. Now they work. And I put no force on it. So now if I move it, there you go. That works. I wonder, can you? You can. Yeah, you can freeze axes. I wonder, can I? That be curious. Let me try to add a dynamic bone on the steer. It does this. Can I lock axes? So freeze, and I just want to freeze one of them. Interesting. It twists the bone for some reason. I do want to try something though. That. Aha! Now it won't move this way, even if I rotate it like this. Hey! Let's go! We can fake the animation. By placing a fake end bone. Let's go. Okay, now we just have to adjust the settings for it. We faked it. We faked the animation for tag bones. Let's go. Now all I have to do is take the other one for the right earring. Let's go. Now it's faked. We faked it. We faked it. But now the problem is Somnium is kinda broken with bones at the moment, and they jitter all over the place unless you use full body tracking. So that feature might stay broken unless you use full body tracking until this bug is fixed, unfortunately. But once it's fixed, it's gonna be working like flawlessly. Or if you use full body tracking all the time, you won't have this problem. I guess, can I do the same with pedals? very extremely slightly. Yeah, if you use wide tracking all the time, you won't encounter this problem at all. It's just unfortunate that it doesn't, like, its angles are broken when you're not using for wide tracking. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've got 4 more dying bone slots left. Okay, the stiffness. The stiffness is gonna stay a bit more like stiff than the other one. I'm gonna put like 0.95 or right, even 0.98. Yeah, 0.98 seems like the sweet spot for this, so I'm gonna put it at 0.98. Oh. Alright, so we technically have 2 more slots for the iron bones, but I don't think we're gonna need any more. They all work perfectly fine now. So if I take the head, there you go. I can't believe you can actually fake it. Oh, yeah, no, that adds a bit of quality to the avatar, and we've already, well, we're already like an hour 50 minutes in. I am I right? And so now that this is done, I guess we can focus on the at least the open and close visor gestures. Because limit, we could keep these out of the equation. So for the gestures, because yeah, like, oh, I think it's play mode. Oh, did I hit on play mode? Oh, I had it hit on play mode. Did I? Okay, no, I didn't. Whew. All right, so for gestures, you have some special steps to do because yeah, limit we can keep these like that, but I don't want to add the animation maybe, and also add these textures in. I'm gonna discuss it, but I might do a little contest for the textures on there. So yeah, I'll announce it on the Discord once everything is settled. But I'm definitely putting some drink on there. So, and there's also the gauges I want to animate. And even neons on the head. But we'll see. I'm going to do that shader work later. I want to have gestures first. So, I will be going to our Astra folder, then go to animations, and we're going to create an animator controller. And okay, eyes, astronaut, gestures, something like that. Or actually, I'm gonna call it Enums, because this is also gonna control other animations in our avatar. And now I'm gonna go in the prefab of it. I mean, first off, discard. I'm gonna apply all the overrides. That way, when we go into prefab, we won't like break anything. Now I'm gonna go into prefab. I'm going to fold everything, then go here and create empty that I'm gonna call Enums, or whatever name you want. And then I'll drop every single thing inside Enums and then save the prefab. Let's see if it broke anything. No. Alright. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. So, with that done, we can go back into prefab. We just wanted to be sure that it worked or not. I'm gonna add a component on Enums called Animator. And I'm gonna drag our controller in there. I'm not gonna set any avatar. And this should be good. This should be working perfect. And now this animator is going to control all the animations we have on our avatar. Just to be sure, if I go to build, let me just check if we're probably going to have some warnings. We've got 2 warnings, dynamic bones and animator count. But as long as we don't go over 4 warnings and as long as we have no errors, we're fine. So now we're ready to do the animations. So first off, I want to do the visor opening and close, which is going to be a gesture. So for gestures, if I remember correctly, let me just go check quickly into Tommy, which has gestures. Okay, yeah. So if you want to do gesture animations, inside the animator controller, you're gonna add 2 parameters. You'll add gesture L and gesture R. And those are 2 ints, by the way. These values are gonna change depending on which hand gesture you do. And those values can then use to play different animations inside the avatar. And you know this is also emote, AFK, and head height. These are gonna be added in the future. They're not in use right now, but if you want to make your avatar future-proof, I would recommend adding those. So now we can go back to our controller here. And capitalization is important. So G capital, gesture, L capital. And then G capital, gestures, gesture, no S, R for right. And the IDs are the same as VRChat. So it is easy to transfer from VRChat to Somnium. And any animator inside your avatar that has those 2 parameters will be affected. So you don't have to worry about having like to drop the animator inside the avatar config. You just have to drop your animator like on an object, then place the 2 parameters and you're all set. So we're gonna create 2 animations, one for the visor going off and one for the visor going on. So I'll create an animation. Astronaut visor off. And Control B to duplicate it. Visor on. So we got the base layer. I won't put anything in there. I'm gonna put a new layer called Visor. Go to the gear icon, set the weight to 1. And I'm gonna drag my 2 animations in and also create an empty state, which I'm gonna set as the default layer. It's 0. And I can make a transition from here and from here, from the any state. And you open up the settings, no transition to self, and no transition. And same here, no transition. And now we're gonna have some stuff to play with. So now we just have to think to remove the visor. How? What I want is kind of like I did with Tommy last season. For example, the glasses. I want to have kind of the same here. So I want to have a control. When the left fist is enabled, this is the control. That's how the you can control the state of your avatar by using left fist. I think that's going to be the standard with my avatars. I guess you can copy this, go back to the animations. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call it the same name as this. So if you do fist, and then this was peace. So if I do that, except on fist and fist maybe. If I do fist, and then also do another fist, visor stays on. Anyway, so if I do both fists, then remove the right fist. Actually, I need to invert those two. This is a puzzle. I do both fists. Visor gets removed. I kind of want the other way around, that's the thing. I'm gonna play and see what's going on. So if I do left fist, nothing happens. Right fist, nothing happens either. I mean left, right. And then both fists. I mean first off, I need to select the avatar first. Yeah, Nims. Alright. If I move the left fist, it stays there. Doesn't that need to be... Wait, left fist I think needs to be equal. Ah, wait, hold, yeah, that makes sense. Ah, right, okay, I see. So if I do this, and then I can control using this, and if I move the fist, it stays stuck in place. Yeah, perfect. You know what, I actually guess this transition to be here instead. Or, like right now, if I do no fist, if I do a fist, visor off. Yeah, and the reset can be the left fist. Yeah, okay, I think that makes sense. Okay, let's do the animation now. So, I'm gonna go here, and then drop in here the off, and drop the on the other one. Boop. Alright. Alright. If you guys are enjoying the stream, give us a follow on Twitch, YouTube, and on Twitter. We do streams a couple of times per week. We have concerts on Wednesdays, we got discos on Saturdays, we got building streams on Fridays, and then we got my streams on Sundays. And if you have any questions on making avatars, don't hesitate to ask in chat. I am here to answer. So... Right, so I'll go to Enums. Go to Visor. You got the animation here that we want to play. So Visor off is going to be this. And that. I want these keys to be both tangents linear. And then I want to copy these on this and just invert the value. So 1 here and 0 here. Let's test out the animation now. So if I go here, There you go. I guess it can make the animation a little slower. There we go. I guess I can predict the time. Just perfect. There you go. And exit time I'm gonna set to 0. So that way there's absolutely no delay. I think I'm gonna create new empties. Just so that there's absolutely no delay whatsoever to the animation. Ah, dang it. Ah, it broke. Well, that's going to be, let me check, equal. And it just says equal, non-equal. There you go. I was actually curious. Maybe. That works. So we've got our gesture animation for the visor, which is pretty cool. And I guess we can make a sound as well for when the visor appears and disappears so that the user can like know when the visor is off and on. So I guess I can go to FL Studio and we can like play with that. I'm gonna put my armor. It's gonna be which one? Hmm. That sounds cool. I might use it in other stuff as well. That sounds really cool. So I'll create. Sounds cool. Oh, that makes me good. Right? Okay, I think that's gonna be good. So export OGG. OGG is gonna be the file format you want to use with Unity. It's a bit more optimized for it, let's say. So I'm going. I guess I can create a new folder. Sound. Zzz. Nope, yeah, press by accident. Alright, sounds. And I'm gonna call this one Visor in. Let me sure I've got the correct parameters. The parameters, not too track, yeah. And then same here. Export OGG. Did I? Or did I overwrite the wrong thing? Let me check something. Okay, no, I did not overwrite it. Phew. That was a close one. I thought I overwrite one of my songs. Phew. Close one. Now we should have in Unity these. So now we can go in the astronaut and go to the head, and we're gonna add an audio source on the head. But the first thing I'm gonna do with it, and you should do it as well, is turn the 3D sound, the special blend, to 3D. Else, your sound is gonna be heard throughout the entire map. Because yeah, even if you're like on the other side of the map and someone else is at the other side of the map when you join in, when you both join in, your avatar is still gonna be loaded, meaning you're still gonna hear the sound. So turn it 3D. And just to test out the distance, I'm gonna set to play on awake and loop. So that way I can take the main camera in the scene and test the distance. Okay, yeah, the distance works. I'm gonna add in the animations the head. I don't know how many other shots can you add. I'm gonna set the loop. I'm actually gonna take this copy component and remove it from here. And go in there. Add an empty inside. and then paste as new. Sound visor in. And one sound visor out. And disable both of these. There we go. And save. So now we can go here. And with sound visor off, I'm gonna record, turn off the on, or the in, and turn on the out. And do the same, but reversed with the other one. So on, I'm gonna turn on visor, I'm gonna turn off visor out, and I'm gonna turn on visor in. That way, when we play, you'll hear when we pull out the visor, and it's inverted. Yeah, we inverted it. Invert that. Invert that. Yeah, actually invert the sounds. I think inverted the sounds themselves. Yeah, I think it's okay like that. And the visor on. Actually, delay the sound a little bit. Is it even working? Alright, because, right. There you go. So I can move these there. Perfect. There you go. There we go. I think that works. Anyway, we're 2 hours in a minute from now. Yeah, so final step of the day. So we got the visor in and out. So we got at least the goal I wanted to achieve today. And I won't do, because, you know, it's beautiful. And we're obviously gonna go test that out in game. So I will be animating a bigger gauges, I think. Come on. Whoop. Sounds good. So I will be creating new animations too. So animation, eyes, gonna cages. And this is gonna be looping. Butter gauges. Ah, there. Perfect. So I'll animate the first one first. Nope. There you go. That's one animated. Let's see the other one too. There you go. So now we should have a passive animation too. There you go. Passive animation on the back. And I guess you did not see the transition. Yeah, it's pretty much invisible to the eye. If you don't know where the end of the animation is, it's pretty much invisible to the eye. And best part, the visor still works. You can see it here. Like you can see the gauges moving and the visor animating. Yeah. Alright, there's one thing I wanted to fix with the mesh, and it's about here. I had noticed that if we remove the visor, I think you could see some, yeah, right there. We can see a bit of the headphone clipping through. So I quickly go modify this on the mesh. There you go. Fixed. So I want to go in here. Yeah. Not there, no. This one. There you go, here. Assets. Models. Astronaut. Astronaut. Selected object. Geometry don't apply. No need for the phones. Export. And there we go. Gauges still work. And that still works. Alright. That's good. And bones still work. Nailed it, perfecto. So I've got that gesture on. Is there any other gestures we want to do? I might do a passive animation with the pedals. I don't know, because the hand moves already perfect. I mean, we can go test that in game. One thing I might do before that is maybe an animation for these. I guess I can do the texture for that now. So just open up some of my files, and also get back my UVs. So let me just go get back that. And drop in, where is it? Going back to the main screen in just a sec, guys. What size did I make the other ones? What? Okay, yeah, okay, I exported wrong res. Okay, let me just redo the export. And we good. So we're gonna do the lightning. So we're gonna do a couple textures. And here's the plan. Here's the plan. Some kind of lightning texture like this. That's gonna be full white. And that's gonna be a mask. there. So that's the second one. Third one. That's the fourth one. I think we're gonna do like 6 or 8. And I guess another one just for safety. And there you go. And now I quickly save this. Those. Ice shall not lightning. And what I want to do is export all of these separately. So I'm going to hide this. And now I'm going to go to the export persona. Create a slice. Create slice. Create slice. Create slice. Another one. Another one. Another one. And I forgot to rename this one. And this one. Now I just want to be sure to export to the right spot, so export slices. Yep, so I'm gonna export all of these inside a lightning folder. So. And now we can take this folder and drag the entire thing to Unity. There you go. And we're gonna create a texture array with that. So we'll go to Window, Amplify Shader, and yeah, this is a tool with Amplify too. So Amplify Shader, Texture Array Creator, 2048. And I'm gonna create the asset inside textures, and then astronaut lightning. There. That's right. And that's the astronaut lightning. Bang. There you go. So now I'm gonna texture list. I want 8 of them. I'll just check something. Because I'm still relatively new to texture arrays, I guess, but you know. Yeah, I want 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8. And I want map maps, I guess. So texture 3, no. Filter mode, okay. Repeat. I'm gonna, I guess, clamp. Chroma, that's fine. Okay, 100%. Is a level, that's fine. And on the path to be inside. So just go on assets, models, astronaut, textures, bang. Ah, wait, not understand. Models, astronaut, textures, lightning. Select, and I'm gonna cut lightning array and build array. Now let's let it work a little bit, just so that you know, the area finishes building. It can take a little bit of time. Especially depending on the texture size you select. I think it's done. There you go. How heavy is the file? That's my question now. 100, oh boy, 170 megs. Is that, I think the package is gonna be too big. We'll see. We can reduce the texture quality if it doesn't work. So I'll go back to the shader and we're gonna create a new shader and see if it works. So shaders, create, Amplify shader, surface, astronaut lightning. And I'm gonna spawn a texture sample that I'm gonna go new, where is it? Autocast lock to texture to the array. Now I'm gonna put a time node for which I'm gonna then plug it to a remainder. And just to see, I'm gonna plug that to debug. This is obviously gonna be transparent. No, not transparent. I'm gonna go masked. Alpha, I'm gonna plug into opacity mask. Index. Ah, there you go. You can see it's moving. Like I set the scale to like, because that's 1 frame a second. I want to do, let's say, 30 frames a second. Now if I refresh, I'm gonna put also a color property tint HDR. For which the emission is going to be, okay, 150, 125, 150, 125, 15, 125, 1. I think that's it. Yeah, perfect. And I'm going to multiply by this. Actually, because it's alpha cut and we don't need a multiply, we can just plug it right into the emission. Now we can change. I'm gonna plug this into opacity mask. Refresh, and we can change the shader to. Did it didn't change? Okay. Change this to astronaut lightning. It does work, but yeah, that's that's what? Yeah. Do you use offset or no? It is centered. Yeah. That's weird. Hold up a sec. Ah. What did the export like? Oh. Okay, no, I know why. I know why it's the export that messed up. We'll get it. 6. This. Now we just have to go and align it again at the bottom here. There you go. Export. And yes, you place all of those. And I'm gonna go drag and drop these to where they're supposed to go. Also, I just realized. Shut up. Shut up. And I'm gonna place these here. There you go. Fixed textures. Here you go. That's fixed. So I'm going to reopen the array creator and update the array. I wonder if it's gonna upload because of the size of the whole array. I'm really wondering because the array is like what? 170 megs. I think that's gonna be too big to upload. We can still try, but not sure if that's gonna work. Okay, now if I like that. Okay, maybe 170 megs is not great. Because yeah, the game is lagging like crazy now. Even the editor is lagging. You know it's bad when even the editor lags. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Guess it doesn't load, huh? I might need to make it smaller. Oh yeah, okay, that's good enough still. Hmm. There we go. There we go. Animated. That looks cool. If you press play, we've got animation spring there. And of course our gestures. So I guess we can go test that one out in game. Let's see. I'm gonna apply all. And let's try to build it. I'm curious. So 1A3. So I'm guessing that's the audio sources. Yeah. Build. Build. We're not minting just yet, because we still have the texture on the back of the backpack to do. And for today's episode, I think that's gonna be it. I don't really have any other gestures in mind apart from removing the visor. So we don't have a thumbnail just yet, but I think that's what we're gonna do next episode. So we're gonna add in the textures on the back of the backpack, and we'll also do the thumbnail for the token on OpenSea. And I absolutely despise the camera in there, so I'll just quickly go here and cheat my way through the camera. Just, there we go. Cheating my way with the camera. I wonder why they do this instead of just nothing in the scene and being able to just play the camera free like in VRH. I wonder, but come on. Okay, I'm just gonna write the name first. So eyes drawn up, gestures, paste. And what's weird is I cannot put dashes like when you type it out, but if you go in the middle, you can then put dashes. Don't ask. Camera, you son of a gun, come back here. Upload. Upload success, let's go. You clean up a bit of my avatars there and just keep those two. Perfect. And open up the guy, me. And just to not have to go back and in the game to the app. I'm just gonna change it from the launcher. And yeah, I still have Tommy in my blockchain avatars. Once it loads, there you go. I still have him. Yeah. Which is still on sale, by the way. If I go OpenSea, where are you? Where are you? OpenSea, where are you? Where are you? Yeah, OpenSea. Let me connect my wallet quick. There we go. Hi, I'm connected. So my boy, you still don't buy me? Come on, someone buy it already. There's so much to do with this avatar. You've got the gestures, you can remove the t-shirt, you can pull out the Somnium drink, you can remove the glasses. It's a really cool avatar, so if you buy it, you're gonna support my work and let me be able to continue doing what I love. So yeah, do it. But for now, I guess what I can do is I'm gonna go plug in my headset, my index. There you go. And my controls are over there. I guess I have to close up the webcam for this. And yeah, I'll quickly open up the game too and change up some settings. So let me move my chat there, there, there. Move this out the way, put this here. And yeah, completely restart Steam VR, because yeah, I started without the headset just to make it like less laggy with the webcam and everything. Yeah, even a 3090 and a 5950X can choke on it. There you go. And OBS crashed. Oh no. Well, yep, OBS crashed. I cannot do anything.